Welcome to Haunt Weekly.
Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast for haunted attraction and haunted entertainment industry. I almost flubbed the intro. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just plain aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. Happy Monday, and if you are in the United States, happy Memorial Day. That feels weird to say that.
It does. It feels a little odd. But you flubbing the intro does prove that you go through that whole spiel every week. It's not pre-recorded.
Yes, it does. If I didn't flub it every once in a while, it would definitely not.
Yeah.
We'd definitely be proving it was like pre-recorded or something.
Exactly.
In the can, and we do not.
No.
I force her to sit here and listen to me go through that intro every single week. Spare a moment.
And our guest.
And our guest, too, yes. Spare a moment of thought for both Crystal and our guest that have to put up with that week after week. Not as much by choice.
Right.
But yes, we are back indeed. It is Memorial Day weekend here. And we had a tough time coming up with a topic. After last week's downer of a topic, talking about when tours go too far, we wanted to come back this week and do something a little more fun, peppy.
Yeah.
And we've been going through and doing finances and talking about savings and stuff like that, and enjoying the benefits of Simple, who does not sponsor this podcast. I wish they would.
Yeah.
They do not sponsor this podcast. Maybe I should include a monetized link. They'll give us money if people sign up because of us.
Yeah.
But anyways, and through Simple, which is a banking account which lets you set aside goals and put money away, but keep it in your account at the same time.
Right.
So it's accessible. It's not like a savings account. We have been saving up for Halloween.
Yes.
Or for the haunt. And we are getting ready to start construction.
Yep.
In about a week, actually. We're getting ready to start construction.
Yeah.
And we have set aside a little bit over $500 for our construction.
Yeah.
And as we're going to discuss in a minute, that would not normally be enough. So we wanted to talk about how we make our dollars stretch. Not just by running a smaller home haunt, but other techniques we use. And since everyone likes saving money, that's what this podcast is about.
Yeah.
But on that note, definitely take a moment, like, share, subscribe, all that social media stuff. We are Haunt Weekly on Facebook and Twitter. We are at hauntweekly.com. We are at Podomatic, Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, all the places finer podcasts are distributed. And tinyurl.com/hauntweekly takes you to our YouTube channel, where you can find all of our past episodes in not moving video format. It's a video, but it doesn't move. It's weird, but that's a convenient way to listen to all the past episodes and hopefully have a good time there. All right, well, on that note, everyone, it is time to do the conference reminders. I know a lot of you guys are currently either just getting back or might still even be in Ohio for Midwest Haunters Convention. Yeah. So here's where you're going next, basically.
Well, if you happen to be going to them.
Yes. No. You have to go. It's like the obligation. By listening to this podcast, you're obligated to go to all these conventions.
Oh.
Isn't that how this works?
I don't think so, because we don't go.
Oh, we're not obligated. We're just doing the host. They're the ones obligating themselves.
Oh, okay.
They're signing the contract. No, okay.
No.
Okay, never mind. All right, and as an even week, so I kick off. Coming up June 22nd and 23rd in Ulster Park, New York, it's Premier Haunted Attractions Tour and Education Series at the Super 8 Kingston, touring the Headless Horseman and all 7 of its attractions. Full itinerary still TBA. Learn all the details at premierhaunttour.com.
Okay, then July 14th and 15th in Ocala, Florida. It's Southeast Halloween Enthusiast Convention at the 2300 Southwest 17th Road in Ocala, Florida, featuring a ghost walk tour and a costume ball. Sehec, SEHEC.com for more on that.
All right. Then July 27th through the 29th in Nashville, Tennessee. It is the Room Escape Conference and Tour at the Music City Center. Touring up to 8 different escape games. There's basically an A track and a B track and an 8 track and they're just an A and a B. And on those tracks you will each go to 4 different escape games. So choose wisely is what I'm saying. Various places you can go to include Extreme Escape Games, Live Minds, Adventure Escape, Escape Point, and Locked Murfreesboro. More details at roomescapeshow.com.
Okay, July 28th through the 29th in Long Beach, California, it's Midsummer Scream! Long Beach Convention Center features dozens of on-site haunted attractions and experiences, largest Hall of Shadows in their history, as well as Screaming Room Film Festival. MidsummerScream.org for more on that.
On July 30th, the day after Midsummer Scream. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Say no more.
Also in Long Beach, California, it's Seasonal Attraction Leadership Symposium 2018 at the Queen Mary Hotel, which we have actually mentioned on the news. You can stay at the super haunted room in the Queen Mary and then go attend this, I guess, if you want it.
Yeah. Why not?
It is put on by the Haunted Attractions Network, Gantum Media, and it includes 6 keynotes with speakers still TBA. Learn all the details at hauntedattractionnetwork.com.
All right. August 5th through 6th. Yay, we've gotten August onto the calendar. Scare LA, Los Angeles, California, at the Los Angeles Convention Center. And West Halls features Scary Woods' 60,000 square feet of mini haunts. That sounds awesome. Mm-hmm. Also features Float and It-themed cinematic VR experience, a film festival, and costume ball. ScareLA.com for more info on that.
And finally, this week, August 16th through the 19th in Mesquite, Texas, which is just outside of Dallas for those playing along at home.
Yes.
It is Halloween and Haunt Fest at the Mesquite Convention Center. Features a Haunters Mixer and Zombie Paintball Hunt, a costume ball, and a movie night. Additional info, TBA, HalloweenandHaunt.com. We went to that last year. Had a great time.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to make it this year, but...
Yeah, my schedule's different this year. That's one of the reasons construction's starting now.
Yeah.
And which we'll get into in a minute.
Yeah, because this is your first year having summer off.
Right.
But you have to work full time, like 5 days a week and then some.
Right.
During the other 10 months.
Right.
You pay for it in a pound of flesh.
Exactly.
Especially in August.
Yeah, and that's just when kids are getting back into the school, and so we have to, be there.
All right.
So.
Excuse me. Well, anyways, this week's topic is all about budget-saving tips. And here's the thing. We are home haunters.
Yeah.
We've been very open about that. And we have a super tight budget. We have about 625 square feet to play with, a little bit over 600 square feet to play with. And we have about $500 saved for our build this year.
Right.
Now, most recommendations say you will spend about $10 per square foot to decorate your haunted house. So if you have a 10,000 square foot haunted house, budget to spend $100,000.
Right.
Perfectly reasonable. Yeah, we don't have $6,250 for this. So corners are going to be cut. Now, to be fair with this is $500 for this year's build. And as we're going to discuss, a lot of the stuff we use is from previous years. We may well have spent $6,000 over the past 10 years.
Yeah.
But
we definitely have.
But not necessarily all of that goes into this year's build either. A lot of that money is not going, as we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we wanted to talk about how we make this work a little bit. Some of the ways that we cut financial corners and ways that maybe home haunters know very, very well that a lot of big name haunts and a lot of larger haunts forget about.
Yeah.
Because they're not things that come up as much. Well, here's the thing. We don't want to discuss any of the common tricks.
Yeah.
As I was going through and drafting these show notes, I kept thinking of things that we do.
Right.
I mean, we do all these things we're about to go over, but you hear them on every list.
Yeah.
I mean, things like dumpster diving, trolling Craigslist, or Facebook Marketplace. Everybody does those things.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're an idiot, frankly. Using charity discounts if you're a charity haunt. This was a piece of advice we got at HauntCon one year.
Right.
Was if you are a charity haunt, get your certification, you can get major discounts at Home Depot and places like that. In fact, you can get free stuff.
Yeah, you can reach out directly to manufacturers and ask them for donations. Because
sometimes they will give you their surplus stuff or sell it to you at a deep, deep, deep discount, so that they can get that charity tax write-off, but also just to get it out off their hands.
Yeah.
Getting donations, obviously, is a huge thing to do. Put out calls in your neighborhood for things you need or want. Oops Paint at Home Depot is one of our favorite tricks.
Yeah.
Paint's expensive, man.
It is. And Home Depot typically has the lowest Oops Paint prices.
Yeah, it's like $5 for a pint or $7 for a gallon, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it used to be $5 a gallon, which was awesome.
Inflation making our Oops Paint prices go up.
I think once we got one of the giant 5-gallon tubs for $10.
Yeah, I remember we lucked out like mad one year and went in there and they had like, I think it was a 5-gallon thing of damn near black.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn near black. It was. It wasn't like perfect black. It had a little purple tint to it.
Right.
But functionally black.
Yeah.
And we don't like do the black walls thing, but you need black for just about everything you do, whether it's molding, making mold effects, whether it's a backdrop, like the walls, like the rock walls we have black as a backstop for them. You need a lot of black.
Yeah.
Obviously buying in bulk is a huge thing every haunt should be doing. Wood in particular is a lot cheaper. If you buy in large quantities, buy all the woods you need for your panels at once. It'll save you a lot of money. And thrift stores are huge.
Thrift stores and garage sales.
Thrift stores, garage sales, anywhere that people are getting rid of used stuff cheap, basically.
Yeah, so that's the stuff we're not going to discuss.
Yeah, we're not going to discuss.
Even though we just talked about them, we're not going to discuss
That's your 10 tricks, we're done.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished. Actually, that was only 6, but
yeah.
Still, no, that doesn't count to our 10, because everyone discusses those.
Right.
All right. So, these are 10 ways in which you can cut costs that you might not have thought of. And you probably have not heard of on every single Haunted Attraction podcast.
Hopefully.
You might have heard them once or twice, but you definitely haven't heard them everywhere.
Right.
So there's the hope. All right. 1. Focus on your story and the location and the setting of your haunt. There's a very interesting fact about most lumber supplies, like, plywood and 2x4s. They're meant to build houses.
Yeah.
And buildings.
They are.
So therefore, it is going to be much cheaper and easier to build houses and things like houses.
Yeah.
Houses, laboratories, anything like that. Office buildings, anything like that. Basically, it's going to cost less than building, for example, a forest sequence.
Right.
Which, 2 dumbasses might be attempting to do in their home haunt this year.
Yes, I am attempting that. I saw that on your show notes, and I'm like, well...
I didn't say we were perfect at following all these tips.
No. Yeah, no. We
are not saints here.
There will be a forest sequence. Yeah. Yes.
But long story short, those are going to be much, much more costly. Outdoor elements can be very, very impressive. I think immediately to the 13th Gate when I say that.
Right.
Because they have an indoor-outdoor segment.
Yes. Yes.
The woods. They have a wooded segment.
Right.
And it is damned impressive. But it is extremely short, and I suspect one of the reasons it is so short is because it's too difficult to make and maintain.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can have the outdoor elements, but use them sparingly. Use them as like intermissions between segments at most.
Right.
And that way most of your building is going to be buildings.
Right.
And that sounds like such a simple thing, but I mean, one year we thought about and we actually did some starting work on building a sewer sequence.
Yeah.
That turned into being too big of a project for our budget.
Yeah.
All of the curved things we would need, all of the work we would need and materials was just too much. It would have been very impressive. Yeah,
we just couldn't do it, especially that year, because at that time I was working full time, and so were you, and not that we don't now, it's just that we have a different schedule for that.
It was a very different time for us in terms of our schedules.
That might have been when we were still volunteering at another haunt, too.
Yeah, another haunts in the area.
One. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a crazy time, and we lacked the time and the money resources to make it happen. Yeah. And we haven't really revisited the idea since, but...
No. Well, and the other thing that's changed since then is that we now have a crew that's willing to help us.
Yes.
Because then it was just you and I building, and that has been helped.
We've gotten a little
better.
We've gotten better people involved.
Yes.
And we've gotten better at delegation.
Yes.
It's a 1-2 punch.
Yes.
So how's that? But anyways.
I'm better at sharing.
But yeah, basically though, take a look at what you have on hand and make your setting work with that. Yeah. One year we did a spider theme.
Yeah.
Why? We came into a crap load of spider stuff very cheap.
Yeah, so we already had our story idea for that year, but then this happened, so we just added that in as the means of disposing the bodies.
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually a really easy change to make, and we just had all this decoration come to us.
Yep. So
yeah, build your story around what you have and what is convenient, and think about what is trivial to build. A lot of people, I'm guilty of this too, get caught up in their vision of what they want.
Yeah.
Even if it's not practical with what they have.
Right.
If you write your story to what you have, you're going to save a lot of money.
Yeah.
Just trust me. You set your haunt in the make your haunt setting appropriate for what you have on hand. You will save money. Yeah. Trust me.
Yeah, because then you can just use what you got.
You got to be flexible with your vision base. Yeah. What I'm trying to say, man, I am not doing well today. Woo!
Maybe we should have recorded yesterday.
All right. Number 2, and this one's probably the only actual quote-unquote trick we have in this.
Right.
Is the washer trick.
Yeah, and I actually saw this, we learned about it when I was watching videos of,
I think it was Garage of Evil, actually.
I don't know if it was Garage, I don't think so. But anyway, I saw it somewhere else where we are now, distributing the information to you.
Yes. But basically it's this. No screw goes into a board in our haunt without a washer.
Yes.
It's that simple of a trick.
Yep.
The reason is this. When we were first building the haunt, way back 13 years ago now, I had a rough idea how much plywood and 2x4s cost.
Yeah.
I had a rough idea of, how much paint cost and things. I had really understood what we were getting into. I was floored by the cost of screws.
Yeah. They're expensive.
They are very expensive. And we actually got really, really lucky.
We did.
Early in our haunting career. I think this was about 10 years ago this happened. Mm-hmm. We went to Home Depot and they had a little display of the 1.5 inch drywall screws, which are the wood screws.
I think they're wood screws.
They were just wood screws. Yeah. But 1.5 inch wood screws, one of the most common sizes we use.
Yeah.
Because that's what we use to affix the plywood to the panels. This is the one that goes around the outside of the panel. But we saw those, and they had the little card there that said they were $4 for a 20-pound bucket of screws.
Yeah.
And we're like, that cannot be right. That's got to be a mistake. And so we took one of them up and had them scan, and nope, $4. Went back, we got 4 buckets of them. Yep. Literally all we could carry.
Yeah. I think it's all they had left, too.
I think it might have been all they had left.
Other people had caught on to this.
Yeah, so we got 4 buckets worth for about $16.
Yeah.
When they were supposed to be about $40 a piece.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a luck out moment. But anyways, the idea behind the washer trick, we're off track here.
Yes.
The idea behind the washer trick is this. If you put a washer around a screw before you put it in, you can reuse that screw year after year after year.
Yes.
Because it will come out without any issue.
Right, because it makes it very difficult to countersink it unless you're pushing the washer into the wood. And if you have the appropriate size washer,
and now if you have a 6'9" tall gorilla doing your screwing for you, sometimes that still happens, but it happens far, far less.
Yes.
Basically, the idea is this. Washers are very cheap. Yeah. You can get mammoth amounts of washers for very little money. Mm-hmm. Like, I think 100 washers, like a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
Long story short, that makes it so that the screws come back out easy, enabling you to reuse them year after year after year, which is great. Because especially as you get into some of those longer screws, the costs start going way up.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, we started doing this is not only made it so that we waste far fewer screws, but has made the demolition and the rearranging part so much faster.
Yeah, it saves you a lot of time.
I remember in previous years, it seemed like every panel we had to cut apart with a reciprocating saw because the screws weren't coming out. They were stripping.
Yeah.
And some of that was we were buying crap screws, but a lot of that was just they were getting countersunken over the course. Because, like I said, our garage is technically, because of it's a haunt, is open to the elements a lot of the time, at least the heat and the humidity.
Right.
It's definitely not a air-conditioned garage. Yeah. The heat and the humidity get in there and warp things and twist things, and it just makes it very difficult to get out.
Yeah.
But you do a washer, easy to reuse your screws.
Yep.
And this is really, really important if you have a knockdown haunt, where you're going to put it up and take it down after season, because you've got to do that takedown super quick usually.
Right.
This speeds it up a lot.
It also makes it very easy to find the screws after they've been painted over.
Oh, God, yes.
So...
How many hours have we wasted trying to find... God damn it, where's that one screw keeping these two panels together?
Exactly.
Where's that son of a bitch? I'm going to find it and rip it out.
Do we put it in through this way or that way?
This way, yeah. Which way did we go with it? Did we come this way? Because we usually only go from the right-hand side, but every once in a while we come in from the left-hand side.
Yeah, our early days of construction, we've just come a long way since then.
We've learned a lot about ourselves.
Yeah.
Because learning how you build and tear down a haunt, it's a self-exploration journey.
Yeah.
It really is. You learn a lot about your own inadequacies.
Yeah.
In just about every respect of the word, including temper.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, basically, this is one of those things that we have found saves a ton of time, ton of money, and I don't think we've ever needed to buy a large thing of screws since that initial purchase, in part because we've managed to keep a lot of our screws intact.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been a huge deal for us. It's been very, very good. All right, this next one's a controversial one. Now, I've always said you can tell every haunt has its own approach to building panels.
Right.
It's like fingerprints, man.
Yeah.
You go to any two haunts, the panel construction, everyone uses panels, but how they build them are totally different.
Right.
But here's my thing. Build your panels to last.
Yeah.
We know of at least one area haunt that does not.
Yeah.
And they are constantly replacing panels that probably should have just been fine.
Right. Yeah.
Year after year after year. This is not where you skimp on materials, guys.
No.
I actually ran some numbers on this, and we'll get to in a minute. And this was a growth process for us.
Yeah.
When we first started building panels, we used 2x2 construction.
Yeah.
And the cheapest OSB, the thinnest and cheapest OSB.
Masonite.
Yeah, we used Masonite originally. You're right. That's true.
Yeah.
Masonite to start, and then we ended up moving to the cheapest OSB we could get our hands on.
Yeah. Yeah, because Masonite I was familiar with from art college. So I knew it was cheap and figured it would probably do a good enough job. And it did.
Didn't, but you can put a hole through it with a stiff fart.
Well, and that's kind of what happened. Was somebody got scared and kicked a hole through the wall. So
Can't have that happening.
no.
Masonite don't work if you're actually going to scare people.
Exactly. Just like that's why we avoid tarp walls, because we've never really done the tarp thing.
No, we did it the very first year, 2005, because Hurricane Katrina had happened.
Yeah.
There was no plywood to be found. Even if we wanted to go full panel base, we couldn't.
There was no wood at all.
Yeah.
In fact, that first year, our construction was so bad, I believe that we used 1x2s for the frames.
Yeah. We built like a tent, basically.
Yeah, basically. And nothing was reusable.
In fact, I remember taking it down, grabbing a lot of it in my arms and just taking it straight to the trash can and putting it in.
Exactly.
We just, literally everything, we just wadded it up and threw it out. And we spent more money than we should have for that.
Yeah.
And none of it made it. And a lot of it didn't even make it the night.
No.
But yeah, so yeah. So we moved from that, we moved to Masonite, and then we moved from Masonite to actual OSB.
Right.
And now we're purely a 2x4 and plywood house.
Yeah.
And this is the thing where as we remove panels, as panels do actually stop, serving their purpose.
Right.
We break them apart for their supplies, but we replace them with 2x4 and plywood now.
Yeah.
We do not skimp here.
Yeah, we've gone to 2x4 for a long time now, since we've had the house.
Yeah.
But the faces of them.
Yeah.
Faces of the frame have changed.
We went to plywood, I think, 3 years ago? 2 or 3 years ago, something like that?
Plywood, yeah.
Yeah, plywood, something like that?
It's
going to be a process swapping it out.
right.
But OSB for us, and the reason we ended up going to plywood was because OSB just doesn't hold up, especially, once again, the humidity and the heat and everything. It flakes. Even on the good side, the quote-unquote good side.
Yeah.
It flakes.
It flakes. It's harder to paint. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to do any detail work.
It soaks up paint.
It does.
It takes like 3 or 4 coats to even get
Now, after you've got your first years of paint on it, then it's easier.
Which is why we're not rushing to remove it.
Right.
Because we've already got it set up and it's sturdy enough. But dear God, we spent probably more in paint trying to cover them than we would have just going straight to plywood.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you've got to think about. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it flakes. It doesn't seem to last as long. It requires more maintenance.
Right.
And basically, the sturdy panels we have, they've lasted 10 years or more.
Exactly.
We've gotten so much mileage. And these are impact panels. These are panels that people get scared and hit and kick and punch and engage in all kinds of acts of wanton violence against our walls.
Yeah.
And pee on and, well, hopefully not poop on yet. I don't think any of our walls have been pooped on.
Not our walls.
Not our walls. Our floor has, but not our walls. But yeah, basically, we actually ran the numbers on this. I pulled up our local Home Depots on the internets.
Uh-huh.
We're talking about a 4x8 panel here. Mm-hmm. One-sided. Only doing one side right now. If you did a 1x3 frame plus a 1/4 inch OSB, it would be $19 per panel.
Right.
If you do what we do, which is a 2x4 frame plus a 1/4 inch plywood panel, it's $37 and some change.
Right.
Now, obviously that's not an insignificant difference. It's damn near double.
Right.
So, yeah, if you only plan on using this for 1 to 2 years, this is a place you can cut a corner. But we plan on being here for a while.
Yeah.
We have been here for a while.
Right.
And so, the fact of the matter is, our OSB panels, especially if they're in an impact zone, have only lasted an average of 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
They like I said, they flake, they chip, they warp, they have
get
problems.
Scratched.
Yeah.
When you take the screws out, it sometimes pulls
it flakes
extra
out.
wood off.
Yeah, exactly. The skin in particular is problematic. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But when we have the plywood ones, those last. And we had some that were plywood by pure coincidence, almost sheer accident.
Right.
From early on. We realized those panels have lasted 10 years or more.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the OSB ones, those years we try to cheap out, not so much.
Yeah. And the other thing with the OSB I've noticed versus the plywood is that because it is New Orleans and it is so humid, the bottoms in our garage, rain will get swept in.
Sometimes, yeah.
So the bottoms of the wood will just, soak up all of that water. They'll mildew and we'll have to replace them.
Yeah, in fact, we've got a couple of panels we're going to have to replace this year for that exact problem. Yeah. They were near the entrance. We're not even talking like an inch of water or a 1/4 inch water. We're talking like just the water's on the ground.
Yeah, or when swept rain in underneath the
garage door.
The garage door.
Yeah, it's a wet floor. Yeah. Basically, if it were a business, you put a wet floor sign and go about your day. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's not. The main problem is that, like I said, it causes the mold and the mildew issue. We do not have that problem with plywood. Right. So yeah. Basically, OSB does not last in our experience, and so we are not using it anymore. Right. And I encourage others to do the same. Yeah. This is not where you cut corners. Not if you plan on being there for a while. Right. All right, moving on. Focus on your lighting. I don't understand why more haunts don't do this. Right. I mean, I get it. We all want to have every single inch of a haunt immaculately detailed. That's expensive and time-consuming. Yeah. Through lighting, you can decorate a room much more quickly, and you can hide the parts where you cannot spend the time or money to decorate it. Right. Basically, don't decorate every square foot of your haunt. Yeah. That's what it comes down to. Yeah. Let the shadowy areas be less detailed than the ones that are in the light. Like last year, we had a laboratory sequence, a mad scientist sequence, and we had a great desk sequence, like the tabletop, and a panel full of electronics and stuff. Yeah. And it looked really good, and that sequence was lit very well. Yeah. You could see every detail of that. Right. It was great. But the other corner, opposite of it, was put in shadow. A, that's where the scare's coming from.
Right.
We want them looking here because we want to hit them from the opposite corner. But also, we didn't put any real attention to detail in there.
Yeah.
But you couldn't see it when going through the haunt because that area was shadowed out pretty thoroughly.
Right. In fact, there's a bare wall, the back of a bare panel, but we just painted it dark so that it would, not be seen.
And the whole room was supposedly like a castle with the stone walls and so forth.
Right.
And that's basically what we did on that side was we had the stone wall sort of fade to black.
Exactly.
And once again, put the light over the stuff you want people to see, bury that stuff. It's amazing how much you can do with a $5 bulb.
Yeah.
I mean, a $5 bulb can do more than hundreds of dollars of decoration in terms of setting the scene in a room.
Yeah.
And I love how a lot of haunts have started using those LED lights that you can change the color in particular, but color lighting over a bed of fog.
Right.
Man, that adds a great impact. It's great ambiance. It's an amazing effect. And it's cheap.
Yeah. It is.
It's stupid cheap.
Yeah.
It's so cheap. And the increased use of flame lights.
Right. And they've now got the LED flicker bulbs out.
Yes.
That you just screw into a regular socket.
Yeah, man, kids today have it so easy when haunting, don't they? Remember trying to wire a flicker circuit using a starter and some solder?
Yeah.
We got it to work. It worked great.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't burn down the whole goddamn garage.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sure there was like 800 fire code violations in that.
Yeah.
But it worked. It worked so great, but my God. Man, nobody knows how to do that anymore. You just buy the flicker and it's cheap.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously cheap. I mean, Amazon is a great resource, by the way, for these light bulbs, for these specialty light bulbs I found. And if you watch like Haunters Hangout and those types of groups, they will post when some of these items go on deep discount. Like I remember the Flame LED bulbs went on discount. They were like $2.
Yeah.
Looks really good. I would not put it bare.
Right.
Underneath like a lampshade or something or protected somehow, filtered. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. It looks exactly like a flame. It's very convincing. And it was $2. I'm a little pissed they only let us buy one at a time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would have snapped up probably the entire supply.
Quick, start making fake accounts.
Exactly.
No.
Thought about it, believe me, because that was a good deal. But yeah, I mean, even like Wish has color change LED bulbs for silly cheap, and they do work.
Right.
We used a few in our haunt.
Yeah.
In fact, they have some that are remote controlled where you can literally just change on the fly.
Right.
So, though they annoyingly coded all the light bulbs to the same frequency of the remote, which created some fun challenges.
Yeah.
But still, lighting is so important, and haunts I think a lot of haunts would do well doubling down on their lighting and less focus on their decoration, because that decoration is expensive and time consuming, and while it is very impressive, don't get me wrong, this is about saving money.
Right.
Not about necessarily building the most detailed and beautiful haunt you've ever seen.
Right.
If you want to cut a corner, focus on your lighting, and that way you can really slack off in certain areas and still have a completely immersive room.
Yeah.
All right, moving on up. Sound design. Keep it simple, guys. This is number 5, by the way. Keep your sound design simple. Mm-hmm. Don't overthink it. Have one sound per room, and possibly, a background music for an entire area, or background effect for an entire area.
Right.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
A lot of haunts, I know, they are really proud of their sound design, and they just completely overthink it. They're like, oh, and here you have the scratching and the dragging of chains here, going into the chainsaw early effects here, and blood, all this, and it's like, and like, dude, it's just noise now.
Yeah, it is just noise, because if people are hearing too many things, then it just all cancels each other out.
Yeah.
It's not going to be scary or unsettling.
I think the best sound design we ever had in terms of creepiness was the year we did the 50s Diner.
Yeah.
The sound design for that was basically, I found a bunch of my favorite doo-wop songs, and I just took them into an audio editor and mangled them.
Yeah.
And made them sound really creepy, really broken and distorted, and people were genuinely freaked out by it.
Yeah.
That was the sound design.
Yeah.
It was that easy. And it took me all of like 20 minutes to do.
Yeah.
And literally, we didn't actually do this, but we could have done the entire sound design with a CD player and just stuck it behind the fake jukebox.
Yeah. No, we put the CD player in the ceiling.
Yeah.
But because it was a diner, so the music would be going throughout the whole thing.
music,
so
yeah.
that made sense to just have that.
Yeah. Don't overcomplicate your sound design. If you do your sound design this way, you literally can get by with cheap speakers.
Yeah.
And either MP3 players or CDs.
Yeah.
And actors can control their own zone's sound.
Right.
Just let them have that control. It's so easy. And I don't understand people that feel the need to put in like 20 speakers in a single room for the sound design. Just keep it simple.
Yeah.
It's supposed to sound a little sketchy.
Right.
Have a little fun with it. And also, don't forget just how powerful silence can be. Mm-hmm. Not every room needs sound. Mm-mm. If you come from a room where there's a lot of sound, and then all of a sudden there's pure silence, that is unsettling.
Yeah.
That is very unsettling. And it also saves you money.
Yeah.
Because you're not paying for the speakers and the sound effects.
Right.
Silence is free.
Yeah.
Never forget that. And it is very powerful. Oh, God. All right. This next one's also going to be controversial. Number 6. Avoid pneumatics. Once again, we're talking about saving costs.
Right.
Hear me out. If you're trying to save costs, avoid or limit your use of pneumatics.
Yeah.
We don't use any.
No.
We've always been pretty much priced out of it. Yeah, because the cost of the compressor is not that bad.
Right.
And even like the compressor and the hoses and so forth is not that bad. But once you get into the props, it gets expensive. We build our hunt what we call 2x4 technology.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen Kids Next Door, Codename Kids Next Door, you know what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we believe in 2x4 technology. Everything is actor driven and actor activated. I like looking at pneumatic props. I think they're really, really cool.
Yeah. Well, and I would like to learn how to build one.
Yeah.
My dad, who lives in a different city, does have pneumatic experience, so we could incorporate it if we wanted it to.
And we have, like I said, we have not just him, but we have other people with pneumatic experience on the crew. We could incorporate it, but we don't because of the cost.
Yeah.
And I mean, and you can, of course, and there's a big difference between, obviously, like the very complicated pneumatic props, like the electric chair one, versus a simple pneumatic piston driving a dummy forward.
Yeah.
If you keep it simple, you can get away with it. But remember, pneumatics are a huge investment up front.
Right.
If you have one pneumatic prop, you've got to get the compressor, you've got to get the hoses, you've got to get the power source, you've got to get all the stuff for it. Mm-hmm. And it's a big upfront expense.
Right. And I mean, some of the pneumatic props can be just as easily done with actors. Like you said, the electric chair.
Yeah.
Instead of doing the pneumatic, why not have somebody in there? There's a safe way to do that.
Yeah.
So that the actor doesn't get his head jostled around too much. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's an easy switch out.
Yeah, I mean, and every time I see that prop, and I've seen it in about half a dozen haunts we've been to, I'm always confused. I'm always thinking, why isn't this an actor? Because they could do so much more with it.
Yeah, we've only been to one haunt where they used an actor.
Yeah, it seems weird to me. Yeah. And we know, because we all have the same catalogs.
Yeah.
We know it's like a $5,000 prop.
Yeah.
I think it's $5,000 or $6,000, right?
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's insane. I would seriously consider putting an actor in that. If you use pneumatics, keep it simple. It'll be much more reliable.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Props, the more complicated the pneumatic prop, the more likely it is to break down.
Yeah.
And the other thing is this. If you are going to buy those complicated pneumatic props, for the love of God, get it from somewhere reputable.
Yeah,
I cannot go on any haunters group. You will hear horror stories and horror stories of people that spent thousands of dollars on this pneumatic prop or that pneumatic prop and got, hosed.
Yeah. No kidding.
Filming in front of a live ostrich.
No.
But yeah, for the love of God, buy from reputable places. Yeah, we tend to find the haunts that avoid those over the top pneumatic props to be, frankly, just more our cup of tea.
Yeah. And right now it is almost $7,000 on the site I'm looking at.
Should have bought it when I first saw it all those years ago.
Yeah.
It was much cheaper then. Oh my God. Oh Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
That's expensive.
Yeah, the other thing to remember about pneumatics though is it will add sound to your scene.
The compressor.
Yeah.
And we have been in several haunts where they put the compressor too close to
Right.
part of the haunt. And you go in and, yeah, I guess the compressor does sound really scary when it kicks on.
Yeah.
But it may not be the appropriate sound effect for your library sequence, is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. So unless you've got, the room to put the compressor far away, which, is going to add.
Now you need a more powerful compressor. Now you need more hoses. Now your costs just keep going up.
Exactly.
Yeah. In my experience, spending a lot of money on complicated pneumatics does not add a lot to the haunt. Mm-hmm. But adds a lot to your costs.
Right.
Just my personal opinion. All right, number 7. Use projections.
Yes.
I am a big fan of projections when used smartly.
Right.
They are great for the distract and startle. They are very obvious. People look at them. People are drawn to them. People are fascinated by them.
Right.
And they are stupid cheap to set up.
Yeah.
You're looking at me like I just said something horrible.
No. I just had an awesome idea.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Sorry, it's the same face on her, guys. You have to understand. You just literally pooped on the floor, and I had a great idea face from Crystal are the same face.
Well, so it's the idea, and then I have to play through it to make sure it'll work, and I think it will.
Okay, we'll talk about the idea off camera. But anyway, off camera. Jesus. Where's the camera? It's one of those episodes, guys. But we like projections a lot, but you have to use them wisely. They are not the scare. They are not a shortcut to filling out a room.
No.
They are a good way to incorporate a digital effect into your haunt on the cheap and use it in the distract and startle.
Right, and we have talked about ways that we've done that in the past.
Yes. And we've seen it at some major haunts. Netherworld made great use of projections. They used it like way up high to get you looking up in the sky and draw your attention places and set up things below.
Exactly.
And it looked amazing. And here's the thing. We just bought our second projector on Amazon for $29.
Yes.
That's how cheap it is. Now compare that to those LCD paintings and panels and things, which can cost over. In fact, I was on Fright Props. The starting price is $1,000 for one of those living portrait things.
Right.
And that does not count the effect that you have to put in the portrait and the license to use it, which is another $115.
Yeah. That seems expensive.
It does. That's a lot. That's our entire budget and then some for the haunt.
Yeah.
I mean, jeez.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to go and visit haunts if we were to go.
We went to the Darkness, and they had like every single one of these known to man in there. And it slowed down the pace. We're sitting there watching the paintings, and it just felt kind of weird. Meanwhile, a projector is just always going. It's a thing that's there, and you can use them very, very well, and at a tiny fraction of the cost.
Right.
So yeah, we avoid the LCD panels, not that we need help avoiding something we can't afford, and instead go with projections. That's our cost saving. And we saved $1,000 by switching to projections. Worst Geico commercial ever.
Yes.
But yeah, keep an eye open. Once again, great deals abound for this. And I know I have seen that projector deal before where it drops to like $29 or whatever. I've seen that before this last time. It does happen semi-regularly. Keep an eye open on Amazon. Maybe set up a price alert or something to let you know when it comes down.
Right.
All right. Number 8. Moving along. Your security system. Oh, boy.
We may have botched this several times.
You know how I said we're not saints and we're not 100% good at following our own advice?
Yeah.
This is one of them.
I think this tip specifically comes out of so many errors.
So many screw-ups.
So much money wasted.
So, I think when we actually look at the money we've wasted, just pure, straight up wasted.
Yeah.
I think security systems where we have wasted probably about half to 75% of our money.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we've made some expensive gaffes, but at least usually we get some mileage out of them.
Right. We find some other use for it.
This one, I think we have literally wasted probably over the run of our haunt, probably over $1,000.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Which you know our budget range right now. Come on.
Yeah.
That hurts. Here's the thing. If you have a small haunt, take it from me. Don't invest in a professional security camera system. Don't be stupid like I was.
Yeah.
Don't be like me. Don't go to the local store and find this really pretty, really cool system.
Look, it has 8 cameras.
And a DVR, and it's got blah, 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 and it's got to have it, and you pick it up, and it's crap.
Yeah.
It's garbage.
Camera doesn't work. It's hard to get the video off of the DVR.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And then it's in some format you never heard of, and I used to do video editing, and I haven't heard of these formats. Yeah, it's frustrating. Here's what you do. If you've got a smaller Hond, build your own using a home space system.
Yeah.
There's tons of these out there. We use Tend. Tend Inspire, I think is the actual name of it.
TEND.
TEND, yes. Not like Tender. It's TEND.
Yeah.
But yeah, we built ours using standalone cameras that cost about that. We got a 3-pack of them for $99 at Sam's Club.
Right.
By the way, if you are looking for deals on security cameras, I do recommend Sam's Club. Yeah. Bite the bullet, get a membership, it's worth it. Costco probably has them too. Yeah. But we had the best luck at Sam's.
Well, and
if we had a Costco reasonably close, I'd tell it.
Well, yeah, we just got a Costco in the city like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, and it's across town from us. It's not super helpful.
Yeah, we've never actually been into it.
No, we need to go. We do need to point at that.
Yeah.
Maybe over summer.
Maybe.
But anyways, 3 of them for $99. It comes with a free week of cloud storage.
Yeah.
It works. They're great cameras. And for that $99 covered 3/4 of our Hond.
Right.
And we had leftover Arlo cameras, which also are a good option. Would have been a good option to us.
Right. We used those for several years before we switched.
Yeah.
Now that's a week of any recording. Yeah. That's not 7 weeks and it's over.
Yeah.
It's not a subscription. It's
Well, they now have a way to upgrade that and get 30 days.
Right.
Which they did not last year.
Right, but it's 7 days free.
Yeah.
So if you record any time during the year, you have 7 days to get it
basically,
down. Not 7 days after you set up the camera.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't know.
That's what I'm trying to distinguish.
If a recording happens on Wednesday, you have until next Wednesday to save it or do something with it. And what we ended up doing is we just moved all the recordings to our Google Drive, which we have an unlimited Google Drive account.
Right.
So, sorry, Google.
Work stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, Google, you just got hosed on that deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great system, and basically you have no reason on earth to invest in something bigger, more complicated, more expensive that requires setup. Now, if you do need a bigger system, get it. By all means. I would say the limit, and I said in the notes 8 cameras, but I was looking, 10 can handle up to 10. Okay. So I think 10 might be a good cutoff.
Yeah. Yeah, for our small Hond, we don't need that many.
No, we do not need anywhere near 10. In fact, we can cover literally every square foot of that Hond, every step you take, every breath you make. We'll be watching you.
Yeah.
I think we can do it with 5 cameras easily.
Yeah.
4 if we stretch it a little bit. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So we do not need 10 cameras, and therefore the Tend system and similar systems are great for us. Seriously, if you do not have a huge Hond or you have a Hond that can be covered with few cameras, don't invest in anything too large. Yeah. It's going to cost you a lot of money and give you a lot of headache.
Right.
Basically. All right, number 9. We got a few more minutes here. Remember this mantra. This is the mantra we live and die by, and I know a lot of other Honds do as well. And this one is probably the one you have heard elsewhere, but it's reuse, recycle, build, buy. In that order. Reuse, recycle, build, buy. That means reuse everything you can.
Yes.
Recycle that which you cannot simply reuse. Take apart that panel. You have good wood there.
Yeah.
When we take apart those panels in a week that are rotted, we're going to throw the OSB away, but you better believe those 2x4s are going to be put to some new use.
Yeah.
In fact, we may just wind up replacing the skins, depending upon how it goes. Build the things you can't repurpose.
Yeah.
And then buy the things you cannot build. Buying is the most expensive.
Right.
So obviously you want to buy as few things as you can.
Right. But if you are buying something, make sure it's something that will last.
Yes.
Because you don't want to spend a bunch of money on something and have it break
in the first season. Yeah, the middle of the first season, which has happened to us and happened. Right. I think it's happened to every Haunter.
Yeah.
But yeah. Basically, when you first start out, you're going to do a lot of building and buying, obviously. So over time, though, if you're smart about the things you build and the things you buy, as you go into subsequent years, you'll be reusing and recycling more.
Right.
And that is one of the first things we do every time we start a new project, is we ask ourselves, how are we going to reuse this next year?
Right.
How is this going to be repurposed next year?
Yeah.
And like with these trees we're getting ready to build,
Yeah.
They're probably going to become outside decorations.
Yeah. I plan on making them so that they can
Yeah.
be standalone.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're already thinking, okay, what's this going to do next year? How are we getting multiple years out of this?
Right.
That's a very, very important thing to be thinking about, especially when you're starting. And that was one of the mistakes we made, was a lot of the stuff we did those first few years could not be reused.
Right.
Like I said, the very first year, we literally threw everything we did out, other than our drop panel we have. And even that ended up getting destroyed.
Yeah.
Not our fault.
No.
Not our fault. But it ended up getting destroyed. So we had literally nothing from that first season that we could carry over to the next one.
Yeah.
We had to start completely fresh.
Yeah.
That was frustrating. Mm-hmm. All right. And number 10, and this is my mea culpa, my apology to Crystal. This is me making things right, and one of the reasons I wanted to do this topic was to have this moment. Number 10, unusual cost-saving tip, build a place to store your crap.
Yep.
All right, last season, one of our big projects was building a storage shed.
Yes.
I fucking hated building that storage shed.
I know.
I cannot think of many things on this planet I hated more than building that storage shed.
Right.
I bled
Yeah.
several times. Thank you, sharp, angular pieces.
Yes.
Every step of that process was torture, from leveling the ground to setting the stones to putting the frame up, and then trying to put the sides up in a somewhat windy day in New Orleans, even though...
Yeah, and you were sick that weekend that we decided to put it
Yes,
together.
everything was horrible.
I know.
Literally everything was horrible about that process.
I know.
And the bad part about it was, the part that was frustrating the moment was we did all that work for basically a 12 by 12 storage shed.
Yeah.
But you can pack a lot of crap into a 12 by 12 storage shed.
You can.
And I'll be good goddamned, it has actually helped us save a lot of money long term. We only paid like $100 or so for it. What did we pay for it? Do you remember?
It was one or two. It wasn't much.
It was the lowest end storage shed we could buy at like Home Depot or Lowe's.
Yeah.
And we literally shopped around to find the best deal we could on it. And I think we got it for only $200.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was $160 actually.
It was in that range. But I'll be good goddamned. We realized one of our biggest expenses we had year after year was having to toss stuff simply because we didn't have a place to put it.
Right, because what would happen was our actors would come and help us do the final clean out of the haunt, and things would just be thrown into the backyard.
Yeah.
And in New Orleans, it rains a lot.
So even if it's only there for the weekend, it's probably ruined.
Right.
And so, yeah, we had a lot of very, very good stuff that was ruined that way. So we built the storage shed, and we haven't had that problem.
No, told everybody, if you find something, just throw it in the shed. We'll organize it later.
Yeah, we'll organize it later. We'll deal with it. Just get it where it'll be dry.
Yep.
And therefore, it's worked. But yeah, having a place to store your stuff, that's what enables that reuse and recycle.
Yeah.
That's what makes that work.
Yeah, because there are some things that we are not going to use this year.
No.
They will stay in the shed.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean they have to be thrown away.
They might be used next year or the year after.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, things that we think we might reuse at some point. And we're not horrible pack rats in general.
No.
But if we think there's a good chance we're going to reuse it or at least repurpose it, we're going to put it in that shed.
Exactly.
But yeah, having a place to store your stuff is so invaluable. And I did not realize how much we were wasting on that by not having that. Because, and here's the other thing too, it doesn't have to be a separate storage shed, though I do recommend having a place off-site or another building to put it, because that is a huge asset. But we also, when we did our initial design of the haunt this year, when we went to this layout, we built in multiple storage locations in the haunt itself.
Right.
We use every square foot of that garage, but several of the areas of it are set aside for storage.
Yeah. And a lot of that's because whenever we designed it, we did not have that storage shed. Yeah. And so it helped some.
Yeah.
But then it really brought the it to a head that we needed more storage.
Yeah, and it came to a point where we were either going to have to redesign the haunt for more storage and less haunt, or build a storage shed.
Yeah.
Build a storage shed.
Exactly.
Because we don't want less haunt.
No. Well, and it also makes it easier because now the yard decorations are not taking up huge swaths of the haunt while we're trying to work on it.
Yeah.
You know, because I remember years where we would say, okay, take this, move it to the next room so we can work on this room. Now move it to the next room.
Yeah, we basically empty a room out so we could work on it, and then have to empty the next room out and work our way around the haunt that way.
Yeah. Well, or move it back to the first room after it was finished. But
well, the part of the problem was you couldn't have it in the first room because that's the entrance. We got to go through that room to get to the second room.
This is true.
So that didn't work out so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, make sure you have adequate place to store your stuff.
Yeah. And I know that seems obvious.
Seems obvious, but yeah, it's not obvious at the same time.
Yeah.
You need a lot of storage.
Yeah.
And there's a reason most big haunts have an actual honest-to-God warehouse.
Yeah. No kidding.
I know 13th Gate does.
Yeah. Well, their props are much bigger than ours, too.
Yeah.
And they have more stuff. But,
but the point remains, especially if you are running a smaller haunt and you're not thinking about storage, think more about storage. It will save you a lot of money.
Yeah, and we looked at the cost of renting a storage shed versus building one. Building one came out way ahead.
And also we would have to drive off-site and blah, blah, blah.
Rent a truck and all that kind of stuff.
Inconvenient as hell.
Yeah.
So we opted to build one on-site.
Yep.
Well, everyone, hopefully some of those ideas and thoughts were new to you, or at least not relentlessly pounded into your head by every single list and every single haunters group on the internet. But yeah, that's all I have. Anything else you want to throw in?
Just if you want to challenge us on these ideas, because I know that some of them were controversial.
Yeah.
Be sure to message us or comment, and they can do that at
Twitter and Facebook at Haunt Weekly. We are there at both. We are also at all the places finer podcasts distributed: Podomatic, Podbean,
places.
Yeah, basically iTunes, Stitcher. God, I don't know why. Because I started Podbean. I don't start with that one, okay? I threw my rhythm off, man. Apple iTunes, Google Play, all those fine places, Stitcher, etc., etc. Once again, we are at hauntweekly.com, and you can find us at tinyurl.com/hauntweekly, our YouTube channel. You can leave comments there, too. We'll eventually see them.
Yeah.
We see the Facebook and Twitter stuff much more quickly. I'm not going to lie to you. If you leave comments on YouTube, it may be a while before we hear about it.
Yeah.
But that's just the way YouTube is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on that note, everyone, thank you very much for spending the hour with us. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, maybe got some interesting ideas. Until next time, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this was Haunt Weekly episode 130, talking about 10 unusual cost-saving tips. We will see you guys next time.